Irvingman! As our story opens, Superman is wrapping up a couple of thugs. Most authorities use rope or handcuffs. Superman will use a convenient crowbar. He'll wait around for the police so they don't have to figure out how to get the crowbar off those guys.
Hi, Superman.
Oh, hello, Jimmy. What are you doing here?
Well, I was at headquarters when Inspector Henderson got the call.
Once looks like the kid beat out Clark Kent on a Superman story.
Oh, I wouldn't say that, Inspector. Kent gets around too, you know.
Yes, he's going to steal the story from Jimmy. The byline will say, Clark Kent, good friend and honest man.
You didn't happen to see that crowbar laying around anywhere, did you?
You mean the one Superman wrapped around those two crooks? Oh, boy, it was bent like a pretzel. No, he got it off for us, and then, well, that's funny. There were quite a lot of people around. Maybe somebody picked it up.
Jimmy wanted it for a souvenir, as if he doesn't have enough souvenirs of all the times Superman rescued him from his own folly. Trouble is, he can't look at those souvenirs. They're all in his head. They're called memories, and maybe a little PTSD. There's who picked it up. He runs that curio shop, and his primary line of goods is Superman souvenirs and memorabilia. He knows that crowbar will fetch a nice price. His name is Mr. Willie, by the way. We'll see him on the show 5 more times in the next 2 seasons, but his name won't be Mr. Willie. His real name was Phillips Teed, and he had been acting on film since 1914, but never really found a breakout role that made him a household name. Until Superman, that is. Mr. Willie will quickly be forgotten as just another secondary character. But the following year, he came back as the eccentric and insanely funny Professor Periwinkle, and after his 5th appearance as the Nutty Professor, he did in fact become a household name for a while. More precisely, the Professor did. And, oh yeah, that little guy who played him was really good. What was his name again? Further evidence that fame is a fickle mistress. And I'm not sure why he's acting as though he stole it. It's not like it's useful as a crowbar anymore, so who cares? As far as most people are concerned, all he did was pick up some litter. His good deed for the day. I'm going to play that clip again, and I want us to pay special attention to how the music enhances the scene. I don't just like it because it features a bassoon, and I played bassoon for a few years. The alternating, silly, sinister back and forth in the music tells us, yeah, he's a bit of a nutcase, but there's something a little not right here, and our goal is going to be to find out what it is. We conveyed all that just with music, not a word spoken. I think we're all at least subconsciously aware of how big a difference music can make to a visual scene, but it never hurts to reinforce the idea once in a while. No sooner has Mr. Willie put the crowbar in his window with a sign than Jimmy comes walking along and would like to buy it. If he had $25 to throw around, that is, which he doesn't. Which makes sense because today that would be just under $250. If Jimmy's carrying that kind of cash around, it's a good thing he knows Superman. But Mr. Willie does have something that's in his budget.
$350, and it's yours.
A brick?
A brick? Oh, you ignorant young man. Look. That's where some went right through. The one and only such brick in existence.
He refers to a recent case where Superman broke down a brick wall. He says, I gathered all of the bricks and that's the only one left. Jimmy is sold. As we've seen before, Jimmy is an easy mark. Back at the planet, Lois has been to the shop too. She bought a souvenir of her own, a bent dagger.
This is the same knife a spy used to try to stab Superman with last month. It's bent because it couldn't pierce his skin.
Oh, sure, I remember.
Huh? How could you remember? You're out of town, Mr. Kent.
Oh, don't pay any attention to him. He's up in the clouds today. The boss has been patting him on the back for getting that story about Superman catching crooks this morning.
Oh? But that was the story I was going to write. I was there with Inspector Henderson.
Clark says, well, you got distracted by a brick. You snooze, you lose. After 3 seasons of this, Clark's smugness and flexible ethics are really starting to wear on me. He is not a likable person, and frankly, neither is Superman. They're too much alike. Clark wants to check out this Superman souvenir shop.
Mr. Kent is just not interested, Jimmy.
He hit me. He hit me.
Mr. Jasper, sit down. Jimmy, get Mr. Jasper a glass of water.
You know me?
Of course, Jasper and Company, Chemical Engineers. Your office is right down the corridor.
He appears to be all right, just your basic lump on the head. So who hit him?
I don't know. I never saw him before. He had a scar. The payroll. That's what he was after. I've got to get back to my office.
But even though the safe is open, the payroll is still there. There's only one thing missing.
I was just sitting there playing with the paper knife I'd recently bought, and
Did you say a paper knife?
it's gone. It was just a silly little thing, I know. It was only worth a few dollars. I picked it up this morning at the curio shop.
Egad, Lois didn't buy that knife. She stole it from the neighbor down the hall. She shows him hers and tells him where she got it.
That's strange. It's identical. Same blade, heavy handle, everything. And Mr. Willie said mine was the only one there was.
That's what he told me, too.
Looks like Mr. Willie isn't above manufacturing some of his memorabilia. And he seemed so nice. While Lois and Jimmy take Mr. Jasper to the police station to talk to Inspector Henderson, despite the probability that he has a concussion and should go to the hospital, Clark wants to check out this curio shop for himself. He meets Mr. Willie and says, "I understand you have a particular knife that bent when it encountered Superman." Mr. Willie says, "Indeed I do. It's in the back. I'll go get it."
I'll find it. I'll find it. Don't worry. Yeah. Here we are. Here we are. Just be a minute now. Just be a minute.
Clark didn't need X-ray vision to figure out what's going on here. He steps through the door and confronts Mr. Willie.
Mr. Willie, has it ever occurred to you how Superman might feel if he caught you doing this?
No harm in selling souvenirs.
I don't think he'd like it very much.
Nonsense. I know Superman better than you do. He's got nothing against me. He doesn't want to see me poor.
That's not what I meant. I'm talking about selling fake souvenirs, like that drawer full of extra knives there.
My souvenirs are authentic. That is, most of them.
His souvenirs are mostly authentic, and Sir Nitpick is mostly a real person. As Clark came in, a woman was heading out. She bought one of the knives. Willie does a strictly cash business, so he has no record of who she is, but Clark has a hunch about the knife she bought.
Help the door, Jack! Help me, please!
Now, it's all right. Take it easy.
I'm reminded of the old joke about the blonde who drove her convertible with the top down into a lake and drowned because she couldn't get the door open. Why didn't those guys help her climb out the window? Scarface was hiding in the back seat, attacked her, and took the knife she bought. Back at the office, Perry is on the phone with Henderson. 3 more people were attacked over those knives.
Chief, has Lois Lane come back to the office
Yes,
yet?
go on, I get it.
Shh. I said, has Lois Lane come back? Chief,
Why?
I'm sorry. Let me have it. Hello, Bill?
And here Perry thought he was in charge of this loony bin.
Hey, what's all the shouting up there? Yes, Kent, I heard you. Miss Lane's still here at headquarters, so of course she's all right.
Oh, I was worried. She has one of those knives herself, you know.
She has? Well, she didn't tell me anything about it.
Clark says, take it away from her. Everybody who has one gets assaulted. Too bad Lois and Jimmy already left.
Went out?
There was a messenger here with a note, something about a fire in her apartment.
Miss Lane and Jimmy went over to her apartment, something about a fire.
Thanks, Bill.
Hey, where are you going, Kent?
They may be in trouble again.
And here Perry thought he was in charge of this loony bin. Scarface is waiting for Lois when she gets home with Jimmy. He takes the knife, has Lois tied up and blindfolded, gives Jimmy a nice bonk on the head, and leaves. At least Jimmy earned the bonk this time.
Jimmy, are you all right?
Jimmy's starting to get a little bold. Isn't puberty an amazing thing?
But Superman, I've got it. I know why he wants those knives. There's something valuable hidden inside one of them, and he keeps chasing after him till he finds the right knife.
The guy holding the actual knife was a spy from Asia, so there could be microfilm, some kind of formula, something of value being smuggled, who knows? The best way to find out would be for Superman to X-ray them. To that end, he'll enlist Clark Kent's help. Clark can buy one of the knives and walk around with it with Superman keeping an eye on him to keep him safe. That's our story, and we're sticking to it. That's Scarface and his driver. Their names are Obvious and Obviouser. It's a good thing he used a soft cosh, because a solid one would probably have broken. You think Lois and Jimmy are confused now? Wait till they start trying to figure out why Clark has such a hard head. We've been a little goofy with this whole premise, but let's turn it up a notch.
That's what the boss wanted. This guy's got the craziest reactions. Let go, Bub. You're unconscious. We gotta take him with us, Louie.
Or you could leave him and wait for Mr. Willie to sell another knife, but that'd be way too easy.
This is it, Louie. A big house right ahead. The boss will be along pretty quick, and then we can collect our $1 million pay and retire. Hey, what a job, huh? Hey, let go of the knife. I got it. Now the job's really completed. Come on, we'll dump him out here.
Clark was hoping you'd do that. A quick change of clothes and he's on the job.
Superman? Yes, I'll get there as quickly as I can.
After a quick stop at a phone booth. Good thing he carries extra change in his... somewhere. Scarface and Louie have collected their pay. He was hiding in the bushes when they came out, but he didn't arrest them. As you can see, he has other plans. Pardon the expression, but he likes to dick with the bad guys instead of just rounding them up. Again, not a nice person. Henderson arrives seconds later, right on cue. Superman says, these guys are just a help. The brains of the operation is a little ways up the road. Let's go take care of him.
Can Flannery here take care of these two characters? Flannery can.
Can Flannery do the can?
Oh, hello there. Come in, come in.
Mr. Jasper.
Yes, this is his home.
That's right. What do you want?
You know, where are the knives? All 7 of them.
Knives?
Perhaps I can help you, Inspector. I see them through that wall on the table.
Jasper says, they're just souvenirs I bought, no big deal. Henderson says, you're under arrest. We'll start with basics until we find out what this is all about. Conspiracy to commit a crime, i.e. paying Scarface and Louie to steal these things.
You believe me, don't you? I was just sitting here working. We have a synthetic metals program underway, you know. But if someone else has been in the house, I'm sure I didn't know about it.
Synthetic metals. You mean alloys. But as we've seen before, more syllables is the key to everything in life.
Everyone seems to think there's something very valuable in one of those knives.
Oh. And you're going to examine them with your X-ray vision, hmm?
That's correct.
Well, that's the most powerful X-ray in the world, isn't it?
I presume so, and I want it to be.
We better stand back. We could be burned by the ray bombardment. So intense.
That's quite correct. As a matter of fact, you better all wait in the hall.
Superman X-rays the knives and discovers nothing. Henderson has been looking around the house and he found 7 more knives, the ones Scarface actually stole. Jasper pleads ignorance about those, and Superman says, well, I guess we have no choice but to believe him and be on our way. If Mr. Jasper will do one little thing for me.
I'd like to have one of your knives as a souvenir.
Certainly. Here, it's all yours.
Oh, no, not one of those. I want one of the knives in there that I just subjected to my X-ray vision.
What? No. I mean, help yourself.
He's afraid to go in the room. Henderson wants to know why.
You know all about harmless metals, don't you? Well, perhaps the alloys I saw in there are no longer harmless.
When there are lean times at the planet, Superman moonlights as a metallurgist. Henderson says, I don't understand. Superman says, I'll show you. But what does it all mean?
Certain alloys can be changed when bombarded by an X-ray. That is, provided you can find one powerful enough. Mr. Jasper here has made a truly remarkable discovery. And he tricked me into using my X-ray vision on those knives of his, which transformed them into pure radium worth many millions of dollars.
And that, dear viewer, is our main plot. It took the whole episode to get there, but we made it. Superman checks in on Mr. Willie, but he's out of the curio business. Now his wife bakes pastries and he sells them. And he doesn't claim Superman took a bite out of them. That whole business was so Jasper could use Superman's X-ray vision to create radium. Putting aside the chemistry, physics, and all the rest, which is way beyond my level of knowledge anyway, what did he plan to do with the knives? He's afraid to go in the room, so what was his end game? How did he plan to get him out of there? Henderson didn't say anything about finding any radiation suits, so I wonder if Jasper didn't think far enough ahead and now he's stuck with a room he can never enter again. It makes me think of a story my dad told. He had a friend who wasn't too bright. This guy found a place where he could sell the little iron filings that you find in sand. Gold miners call it black sand. When you panned for gold, you'd start by washing away all the regular sand, while the heavier gold and iron filings would settle to the bottom of the pan and stay put. Most all sand is loaded with the iron, and this guy had found a place where he could get cash for it. He went into debt and bought himself a bulldozer-type tractor of some kind and mounted a huge magnet on it. He took it down to a nearby beach and scoured the sand with the magnet. When he was done, he had at least several hundred pounds of iron filings on his magnet. That was when he realized he forgot to ask one question: how's he going to get the stuff off the magnet? It was powerful enough that he couldn't even scrape it off, and it wasn't an electromagnet, so he couldn't just turn it off. As of the time my dad told that story, as far as anybody knew, the tractor was still sitting there by the beach with its big magnet covered in iron filings. He was so dismayed with himself, he just left it and walked away. Maybe that's what Jasper should have done.
Thanks for watching, kids, and remember, clicking that like button is cool. Subscribing is even cooler. Leaving a comment is as cool as the coolest person you know. And becoming a patron makes you almost just like Superman. So don't hesitate. Do it today. Until next time.